Sure.
Great.
Okay. Like I said, like from the first moment, with the first meeting we had, where where you said, we don't discuss targets. For me, it was such a different approach. It really helps me to open my mind again. So, I have been very fortunate to meet a lot of people who've been helping me develop over the years and have a good look at myself. But this is another inspiration moment for me. So thank you.
Great. Well, I'm sure it's mutual. So we'll find all that out pretty soon, I think.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about this is also this morning I thought, oh God, shall I have a shower before? Ach, no, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. And then I was thinking, you get up every Monday night at 2:00. I didn't realize how stupid was that.
It was 2:00 only this week because Europe changed time and I didn't know we were following European time. It used to be 3:00.
Oh my goodness. That's even worse.
It is actually worse. 2:00 is actually better. Because I could go back to sleep and actually sleep before it got light. So 2:00 was a surprise, but it was actually better. So yeah, if I can show people my 2:00 self, I'm not going to worry about anything else.
That's what I thought as well. I thought, well, 8:00 in the morning. Ooh. Well, whatever. Okay. Well, I don't know. Would you be able to send it to me through other means?
Sure. Do you want me to send it right now? We'll just pop off for a minute and I'll do that.
No. If you can just send it later on, and then we'll start from where we are now, because you have had a little bit of preparation time, and then we'll just dive in.
Great. So let's figure out what we're doing. So I suggested a 90-minute process that works for kind of everything for me. There's kind of two main processes I just want to use for almost anything because they're the most efficient thing I've found. And I personally go for whatever is short and sweet and to the point and has the capacity to go really deep and get multiple people in on it. So one of them is open space technology and the other one is action learning. And action learning is sufficiently simple that it fits all kinds of things, which is just, if you do it as a full process, it's 90 minutes. It has 6 different parts. I wrote that in Slack. I don't know if you saw it. Okay.
I only saw 2.
Yeah, no need to. So I'll just tell you. It's got 6 parts. There's a problem presenter or more than one. I suggest we do this one at a time because this is kind of a deep thing. I know when I'm doing my thinking, I want you to just ask me and I want to dig and dig. So I think we separate one at a time. It can be up to 90 minutes. It could be shorter. So 6 things it needs. Number 1 is a person who owns the issue, whatever that is, the problem, the issue, what they're working on. Number 2, there needs to be a problem. So it needs to be important, urgent, and it's not clear what to do, or the answer isn't clear. And a person needs to have ownership of it. So we got that. Number 3, there needs to be a process. So the full process is 90 minutes. At 60 minutes, the coach says, what's your action? And the person whose issue it is simply names what they've come to, like the crystallization of where they're at. And then there's still a third of the time that we can do reflection. And it's called action learning because everyone in the conversation learns. There is no non-learner here. Right.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then the 4th thing is there's 2 guidelines, just 2 guidelines. They're very simple. Number 1, statements only in response to questions. So it's basically a question-led process. The coach asks questions. You and I, either one can ask questions. I can ask a question. I can answer it, right? It just needs to have a question followed by an answer, whoever does it. And if one of us doesn't answer a question but says something else or answers and then goes off on a tangent, anyone can interrupt and say, what question are you answering now? Simply so that you and I stay on the same road so we can actually get somewhere. Yeah. And the last thing is there's a coach. So I'm mostly not the coach, but the coach doesn't do very much. And I'm very practiced at being coach. So if you're okay with it, I'll take 2 roles.
Excellent.
I'll be, yeah.
Being
Good.
that you have had more experience with it.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to know more about both ways of working, open space technology and action learning. So this was again, it was such a opportunity whereby, I know I'm going to be uncomfortable.
Be prepared to be surprised.
Okay.
We'll find out, yeah? Yeah. I think it's really okay, what's the other thing? I love processes where everyone is relaxed and having a good time.
Well,
and this is that.
I'm very, yeah.
I did one, I'm going to tell you, I did one yesterday. I do something called, well, I call it aura mechanics, but I talk with people about their aura, like what's going on, what's happening energetically between them and others. But mostly I don't talk to them. Mostly they already know things, but they don't know they know. So I use this process to just ask a bunch of questions and help them discern things that they already know. And I did this with this woman yesterday. Why am I thinking of this now? Because I just said it's fun. She twice was in a deep process of tears. We were in a coffee shop and she was fine with that and I was fine with that. But like I said a thing and it was really true and she just, and then there were tears and everyone was fine with it. We'd gone over into a corner area because I could kind of feel that we needed our privacy. But so the fact that I say it's fun doesn't mean that it's not real.
The thing is that I've worked for a company where people had the tendency to ask really good questions where you would think, have they got this talent of looking into my head and into my heart? I left this company 3 years ago. So yeah, it's something that that you have to look for with people again to find those people.
I feel you've just touched on something huge. I think we're already in something. So there's a company you left 3 years ago that really had high impact, or people there had a really high impact way with each other. Is that what I understand?
Yes, and it was a very toxic organizational culture at the same time. So it was absolutely mind-blowing. It was addictive as well. I worked there for 8 years, and it was not a good leaving. I was happy to leave eventually. But there were some people, and still in my mind, they helped me along my road of developing. And they were very just meaningful in their way how they did it. So it was, I can look back on it now after, going through sort of the pain of not being valued, a lot of other toxic system dynamics. But for those people who really made it possible for me to develop, I'm very grateful. Yeah, you're still on mute.
There was a plane going over me and I put it on mute. Sorry.
Okay, no, don't worry.
So I think we're doing you first. Does that sound right? Where you're okay. And I have the instructions and you don't.
Yeah.
So I'll just, and do you have a sheet in front of you, this immunity thing?
Yeah, I've almost, but the thing is I'm struggling.
Okay. Right, it's not printed, right?
I can get it, but then I won't. And
no need.
Funny. Okay.
I will
thought I'd work. Okay.
Yeah. Let me just get myself set up so I can type. When you say things, I can take brief notes, and then I won't put them in chat until I've typed them somewhere else, because I can't always retrieve chat. So that can be annoying or important to know. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, am I coach? Yes, I am coach. So how action learning begins is we notice the time, which I'm going to call 4:32 right now. No, I don't mean that. I mean 2:32. So anyway, half past.
Yeah.
I'm going to write my time. I'm going to call it 2:30. So at 3:30, by 3:30, my time, I'll say, what's your action? And I don't know what that means right now, but at that point, say whatever makes sense. It's all good. And so as the coach, we've already gone over guidelines, and we're in a situation now where I have the instructions and you don't. So, and it's a question-led process. So as coach, I'm going to say, and again, answer however you want. Right now in this process, if in your own words, where do you want to arrive at?
Oh, that's a broad question. The first thing that comes to mind, what has been an underlying current for I would say probably the last 9 months, is I keep comparing myself to others, and in that process, I'm very good at sabotaging myself. Would that be an answer?
That's a great answer, because
Okay.
it's yours. It's the answer.
Okay.
So I'm going. How do we do this? Do you want to give any other background? There's no need, but you're welcome to.
Sure. No, I will. I'm actually writing this as sabotaging.
You said underlying current the last 9 months. You keep comparing yourself to others, and you're very good. Congratulations at sabotaging yourself.
I think this is something that came up, and this is about something that came up. I think it will be quite 19 years ago that I started realizing that I was stuck, and I had been very confident until that time, and somehow a context brought me to doubting myself. At the time, I was living in Kenya, and I couldn't get a job, and that was not all complete to conditions that I could influence. But it obviously impacted me in the sense that I would keep telling myself, obviously, I'm not good enough. Um, so luckily enough, I was able to find someone who, like a therapist, who helped me along and gave me insights. But I think that feeling has never left me. And there's moments of like in any person's life where you go through lows, and it's really emphasized in your own brain, and you actually are then on a high, and then you feel like, okay, I'm starting to deal with this, and we're going in the right direction. And then all of a sudden you get into a phase again, and where it's sort of, I call it my monsters. And sometimes my monsters are bigger, and sometimes they are smaller, and I've sort of started embracing them in the sense that, okay, so this is something that is a process that will just not leave me. Um, but at the moment, it's very prevalent again, because I'm working with two people that were in that toxic system with me of that company that I left 2 years ago. And they were, I was responsible for a team of 50 people, but operational side of the business. And they were our trainer consultants. So they were educated, they had a university degree, they did a lot of research, and I was the one who, used to run the operation side. And they, from a weird perspective, they all needed to emphasize this difference, which I thought was really weird in this organization, because in this organization it was all about leadership development, and reflection on yourself. But what they all needed to do in the system is, on the inside, the back end colleagues, they needed to emphasize these differences. So I left this company, worked to another company, got away from that system, felt like, the flows were like less high and deep. Then I'm getting back with these colleagues, and it's sort of the whole comparison thing starts again. And it's like, it's like the sabotaging on myself. And I know also by talking to people, I can.
I just want to highlight what you just said. I'm supposed to ask a question. Can I highlight what you just said? And how it happened inside me. I was impacted because it was a strong statement that I didn't expect, which was, and so I got into the self-sabotage thing. So that I just want to comment. It's like, oh, I didn't see that connection. Maybe it's important. Please, would you like to continue?
Yeah. How didn't you see the self-sabotaging connection?
Well, what I'd heard right before that is the group got into the whole comparison thing. And then the next thing you said, so I got into self-sabotage. So it's like, oh, so comparison sounds like the trigger, or that, it's not comparison, but that way that people are with each other, yeah? Okay, yeah. I'm good, I got it.
Okay. So I know that, having been in this company for a year, we are a startup. We're very small, so we're only 10 people. How complicated can it be? I was asked to join, so no need to self-doubt, because obviously they thought I had talents or attributes that were added value. And I can't get past comparing myself to these 2 of the 8 people who continue to nourish old dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know there is a way past this, and that's something that came up immediately when we had on Monday the webinar. I know there is a way past this, and I know I have progressed, but somehow it just keeps eluding me where I get past it. And that is something where when I said deliberate, when I read the thing about deliberately developing organizations, I thought we have stopped doing that, which is really, something that we need to focus on. I realized that. We say that failing is the best way of learning. So embrace failing on a cognitive level, but not on a systemic level. Mm. Do you get what I mean? Okay. So the failing, and I've started with something that I did years ago, which I didn't feel comfortable with, but now I fully embrace what we're doing and the purpose that what we're doing. So I started wanting to train again, and I'm being coached by one of those two people, and it feels like a huge challenge, but I'm my worst enemy in the sense that the comparing and the sabotaging is a continuous process. So next week, Thursday, I have a next training program, and I'm already like going, how can I keep breathing through this and increase on the learning process? So I think that the whole thing is that I want to, I don't think I will ever get rid of it, but I want to be able to address it more effectively on the moments that it starts, when I start realizing what is happening. So be more in the moment and be more able to deal with it in a more emotionally mature way. Like, it's okay, it will pass. Probably it's also big in my mind. And what happens at the same time with this, this comparing myself, I forget about all the talents that I have and the impact that I can have on people. And that is such a waste. So that's the issue.
Great. So coach says, when I'm coach, I'll try to start by saying coaches. Coach says, wow, we have good, really solid background. And so now would Jane and Hyke begin? Who has the first question? Begin question answer. I would like to, if I could just summarize what I heard. I want to try to do that. Okay. I heard that you're in a process that started back when you were in Kenya, and you were kind of in a stuck place where you couldn't work as expected, and it kind of shocked you, it sounds like. It kind of created a shock, And and it continued when you were in the other company that you left 2 years ago. There was a dynamic there that just kept emphasizing who has, like, a status thing. And so there was and status was based, I guess, on education, research, background, and even degree, it sounds like who has and who doesn't have such and such a degree. And so in that environment, there was something being rubbed inside of you that was constantly saying, because we see the world this way, you're not good enough. So you left all that, like, I'm out of there. And then you started on with some really cool things, which you're doing now. Nice small company startup. Sounds like great energy. Sounds like some great wording that people use. And now you're in a situation where, whoa, two of these people from that environment are showing up here as your, let's call it, guide. And it's not really the guide you'd like to have. Okay, got it. And so for this exercise, because the first thing is name an improvement goal, you started really clearly. Let me grab the words or look. Your improvement goal is something about, well, it has to do with comparing. It has to do with working with self. Maybe that's it, comparing and working with self-sabotage, yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I feel really grounded, and you said yes, so great. So can I ask, in the places that surprised me, just ask a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the specific behavior of self-sabotage?
Cool. That's a good question. The first thing that comes to mind is that I look at someone else's talents and admire them, um, but immediately put them next to my biased view of my talents and knowledge.
And what do you do that's self-sabotaging there?
What I do myself is then it goes like, it goes in like sixth gear. Wow, that is amazing. How clever. That's because they studied. It's because I didn't study, or I'm too lazy to do more research, or, well, I can carry on from there.
So I believe you, can I summarize? How I understood this is it's all internal. Well, no, I don't mean all, but it's very strongly an internal process. Hello, dog. I hear you, dog. So it's a belief thing, and it changes how it creates a strong narrative inside of you. And in that narrative, you become less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I can, I'm doing it again. One moment.
Yeah. Can I see it? Can the video show your dog at all?
Yeah, sure. One moment. Guusje, kom eens hier. Kom eens hier.
Oh, hello. What's her name or his name?
It's her name, and it's Guus. It's a real Dutch name.
Yeah. Guus. Hello, Guus. Beautiful dog.
He's my little, what do you call it? Service dog.
What does that mean?
She makes me happy every day.
Ah. Here, can I show you?
Yeah, have you got a dog?
Well, can you see her there?
Oh,
Judy,
God.
Judy.
Big dog.
She's a big dog. Yeah. I woke her up.
It's like in the school, like, oh, God.
Yeah. So, Guus, you are welcome to bark and take care of the house while we're having our talk. How old is she?
She's 8 years old, but we've also got 2 cats, and the cats just don't like each other very much. So she always, she's got the role of mediator between the cats. This is where she gets really upset when they sort of start, hissing at each other. And it's sort of like, we can't get them, we don't want to let go by the cats. They're both special. Yes.
Good role,
back to work.
Thank you.
Back to work.
Yeah. Thank you. So, other question. Okay, what you just began to say, you don't know if you could something. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah. No, the way you are sort of rephrasing things, it really already helps me help me along.
Good.
And I think, the way you actually, again, this is, you grasp it, at the heart of things. Amazing. Thank you.
So column 1 is, can I read the instructions?
Sure.
Okay. It's your improvement goal and your starting commitment. So to begin, you need to identify your improvement goal, which I think we kind of did. It says generate a few possibilities and decide which one feels like the most powerful one to focus on. Let me stop right there. What's your wording right now for the most powerful improvement goal you have in that story, in your situation?
Well, the thing is, there's coming up a couple of them, but stop comparing obviously is not the answer, because that is something that I've already tried. Mm-hmm. Start looking at my own talents is something that tried. Mm-hmm. Doesn't work in my brain. I'm just sort of hardwired. Mm-hmm. I think the best thing that I could do is at this present time is realize that I'm doing it, and taking a step back.
Mm. So it's like raise awareness and open up your context when this happens. Open up in some way. Open up in some way. Great. So then can I read what they say, the other criteria for writing the improvement goal? So one says it should be about getting better at something. So I see that you're writing. So if there's any words that need to be added to have the idea of getting better at, they give an example. I am committed to getting better at, and then being with others, to being less controlling, to being more open to others' ways of doing things. Okay, that's someone's example. So it should be about getting better at something. It should be stated affirmatively if possible. It should feel quite important to you. Oh, I have no question, but this is really important to you. Very clear. So that you can imagine its realization if you can achieve it as personally valuable, desirable, powerful. Yeah, I think we're in that arena, right?
All of the above.
Yeah,
all
great.
Of the above.
Right. It should be something you have not yet accomplished. Okay.
All of the above.
Okay. Good. Meaning there is plenty of...
The thing is I haven't approached it from this angle. I've always approached it from the angle of enhancing self-image, confidence. I was looking for the word. So I've always approached it from that side, and this for me is a new approach. Stop comparing.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least become aware if I sort of go on that slippery slope, and then realize, okay, I'm doing it again. I think that is for me something that I should, for me it's also an achievable thing.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if there's anything else. Is there anything else? It should be clear how getting better at this commitment means that you must make changes to the way you live. Okay, all of that, all of the above. So what's your current wording, just so I write it exactly like you have it? I want to.
I think it starts with it's all about emotion. So being aware that something in myself is changing. Recognizing and stepping back from it when I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. I think those are for me the first steps, and these are difficult enough as it is because I get sucked into emotion. This is where I'm missing the nurturing development context that I am actually definitely going to raise in the next strategy get together we're having, is that I'm actually thinking this is something that we need to focus on. I actually pride myself on being very vulnerable and open and transparent, but it's not being appreciated. And I think that's excuse my wording, is bullshit.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. I've already, the thing is I've already met so many beautiful people, in the last 3 weeks. It's, yeah. And I feel like I'm really, and if I don't do it, I'm sabotaging myself again. But,
I suddenly have an idea. Can I suggest? So you're using a few keywords that show up in the aura mechanics model that I use. And in that model, they basically say everyone is unique. There's no such thing as two people who are the same. And so the challenge is to recognize the beauty in me, like each person. Mm-hmm. It's like recognize what's my part here? Like, what am I really doing? So I got really curious about your energy chart, and I wonder if we want to take a break. And I can send you all the notes so far. In fact, let me do that right now. We take a little break, 3 minutes even, and let me go and just, I'm going to try to send you this. Let me go and just try to, just pull up your chart, just look at it. Because I'm guessing that they have a radically different story. And why is it not it's not, did you get it? Did it come in chat? It's not showing up in my chat. I don't know why.
Mine is still loading.
Yeah, it's not letting me dump it. So I think instead I'm going to put it in Slack. But is it interesting for you if I look at your energy chart?
Oh, amazing. Okay. What a gift.
So I'll just look briefly, but it might be really interesting. I need your birth information. So year, month, day, time.
Okay, 19th of January, 1968.
19th January, 1968. Time of day?
13 past 1.
13 in Denmark, Copenhagen.
No, in Aruba, Oranjestad.
So I just need to know the time zone. So is that the same time as Copenhagen? Or give me a big city. No.
Miami.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in the Caribbean.
Ah, coolie. Cool. Okay, let me go look. Let me first go to Slack and send you.
I'm going to work on how to do my screen.
Okay, I just sent all the notes. So you can look at that and we'll take a break.